Good morning. My name's Frank Stubbins from Woodstown, New Jersey, and I'm here at the request of the Heritage Glass Museum in Glassboro, New Jersey, to show you and give you a little insight as to what it takes to make a bottle and how a bottle is blown into a mold to create a specific shape. And we're going to take you through those processes today. Now, the glass that we use is known as soda lime glass because of the materials that make up the glass itself. The glass needs to be at a very high temperature, about 2,200 degrees, so that it will work properly. The items that are made today in plastic, the plastic also needs to be a liquid, but not at that temperature. So once the temperature of the glass is at the point where it's workable, the machine that does the actual making of the bottle starts distributing the glass to different molds to make the bottle. Now, over 100 years ago, all of our bottles and things made from glass were done by a human being, one piece at a time. Now, in the case of bottles, we would use what is known as a blowpipe. I have a blowpipe here today that I have brought for you to see. This is the mouthpiece, this area here, and it's a steel or iron tube. And this area is known as the gathering head. You can see it's slightly larger than the rest of the tube. And this is where the glass would be gathered out of the furnace. The glass blower would get the tube or the gathering head up to the temperature of the glass and then dip into the molten glass and rotate the pipe. And the hot liquid glass would stick to the end of the blowpipe. When he has enough glass to make his bottle, he would then go over to the bottle mold, which would be on the pit, on the floor in a pit, with a mold boy to operate the mold. The mold would need to be open and closed to allow the entrance of the glass into the mold. Back here, we have a mold. Now, when the glass blower brings the hot liquid glass to the mold area, the mold is closed to keep it hot. The mold needs to be hot so that the impression will take place. When the glass blower gets to the mold boy opens the mold slightly. I'll open this further later. This is the neck area. So the glass blower would allow the hot glass to elongate down into the mold. Once he has done that, the mold boy closes the mold and the glass blower will blow into the blowpipe, forming the bottle. Once the bottle is formed, now the glass blower needs to keep his breath on the blowpipe. So in order to tell the mold boy to open the mold, the glass blower would tap his foot, telling the mold boy, open the mold. So the mold boy opens the mold and they remove the glass bottle still attached to the blowpipe. They separate the two. The bottle would then be carried to what is known as a leer, where the glass cools gradually overnight. This is a whisk broom bottle that was blown in this mold, and it would sit right in here, just like that. So we have a two-piece mold with a pattern cut on each side to put the pattern in the glass. So we have two samples here, one of glass, one of plastic, to show the mold seam. And here we have a glass milk bottle with a mold seam here, mold seam on the other side, indicating that this was blown into a metal mold. We have plastic also with a mold seam right here. So if you want bottles and you're going to make a lot of bottles, and you want the pattern all the same, you need a metal mold. I have brought some samples of other figural bottles that were blown by a human being in a mold during the late 19th century and early 20th century. Some of these were made in southern New Jersey, but not all. What we have here is a clam bottle. The mold seam would be here on each side. The pattern is cut into the mold, and this has the word patent right in the mold right here. We have a turtle bottle, also a two-piece mold. And keep in mind, a man carved or machined into the mold all of these patterns. An ear of corn. And you see some residue on the outer surface. That is paint. And when these were completed and cooled, many of them were decorated to make them more appealing rather than just the clear glass. We have a shoe in black glass. And it looks black, but it's very, very, very dense amethyst. There is no true black glass. I have one of these in clear, and it's less impressive, but you can see down the back the mold seam right here. And again, the toe was painted to enhance the appearance. We have an eye bottle. Again, painted. It's a milk glass bottle with paint. And this is one side or one half of the mold. This is the other half of the mold, and it says eye opener on the bottle. And these come in two sizes. I have one at home that is half the size of this one. And the last bottle that I'm going to show you, these are known as figural bottles. This is a white potato bottle. Whoop, there goes my tag. And if you look, you can see 1893 embossed in the side of the bottle. This was sold at the Columbian Exposition in 1893. And this is painted. This is a milk glass bottle underneath, but painted. And it took quite a bit of effort to carve a mold, two pieces, to look like a potato. We're going to take a short trip back into glass history here in southern New Jersey. And southern New Jersey was the birthplace of the entire glass industry in the United States. There were several attempts prior to what took place here in South Jersey, but they were not successful. Our successful glass factory in southern New Jersey was known as Wistarburg. Started about 1738, and it operated for about 40 years. And the town that it was in was Alloway, New Jersey, in Salem County. And it was started by a gentleman by the name of Casper Wistar, who was a businessman and a brass button manufacturer in Philadelphia. He wanted to get into the glass industry, and at that time, we could only purchase glass from England because we were still a colony. And Casper Wistar bought about 2,000 acres around what is now Alloway, New Jersey, and set up his glass factory there. Imported 3 to 4 glass blowers from Europe to teach him the business and to get underway. And he operated for just about 40 years in Alloway. And some of the people that worked at Wistar migrated to the Glassboro area, the Stangers, and they started an 18th century glass business in Glassboro, New Jersey. And from there, it just grew and grew and grew And at one time, over a period of years, there were 109 glass factories, not at the same time, here in New Jersey. So we are the birthplace of the glass industry. And I would like to thank the Heritage Glass Museum for the opportunity to come here and show you some things about mold blowing of glass and the glass industry. And we will invite you to come and visit the Heritage Glass Museum, where you can see many, many things here made from glass. And I am Frank Stubbins, collector from Woodstown, New Jersey.